I think that there's only one way for me to open up this post-game show, and that is to apologize to every single Oklahoma Sooners fan and every single Oklahoma Sooners player. I severely doubted you. I'm not someone who's going to come up here and lie and bullcrap myself that, oh, I knew that Oklahoma was going to win, or I'm going to make an excuse on why I picked Florida to win this game. Oh, Florida was missing all their top receivers and everything. I knew that they were missing those guys. I still took Florida, and I was extremely wrong. I wasn't even close to being right. Kyle Trask did not have a good game at all. So, Oklahoma Sooners fans, I am sincerely sorry for doubting you guys. I was completely wrong. I'm not going to come up here and try to talk smart and it's like, oh yeah, excuses on why Florida lost. No, that's not what I'm going to do. Oklahoma won this game because they were the better team in this game. No question about it. The talent on that team, I had not seen it before. I obviously gave up on Oklahoma too early in the season after they dropped those first two games to Kansas State and then dropped the game to Iowa State. Oklahoma fans, I'm sorry. I'd appreciate it if all of you guys would drop a like on this video for me right now. That'd really help out with how this video does. But let's get into it. What a game. It was actually very entertaining at the beginning because you have Kyle Trask, a Heisman finalist, go out and throw 3 interceptions to start the game. Just very, very uncharacteristic. You saw that in the last couple of games for him, especially that LSU game. You saw a lot of just forced throws that he usually doesn't make, throws where he just wasn't getting his reads properly. He wasn't seeing the field properly. He wasn't seeing the corners properly. And Oklahoma was able to take advantage of that. And that's why you saw so many picks come up for the Oklahoma Sooners, one being a pick 6. Man, Oklahoma's defense, I think that's what really I didn't see the most about going into this game, or that's what I underestimated the most, was by far how good an Oklahoma defense actually is. That defense can play some ball. I'm telling you, like the amount of, not even just the amount of takeaways that they had, but they were just swarming to the ball. The coverage was very good all across the board. They were getting Trask. I underestimated this Oklahoma defense. They were amazing this game. Now, Florida did have their chance. They got this to a 4-point game. They put in Emory Jones. He goes in. He scores the only touchdown for Florida to this point. He has a rushing touchdown. That's it. The score right now, there's still about 6 minutes left in the game. I just start this early because this game is over. It's 55-13 right now. Emory Jones goes out. He scores a touchdown. He's the only one who scored for Florida to this point. They kick a couple of field goals. It was a 4-point game. Florida was able to force some turnovers or whatever, and you had this as a close ball game. But ever since that 70-13 point, Spencer Rattler, Ramondre Stevenson, that's another guy I underestimated. I could go down the board here and talk about the guys that I underestimated in this game, because I couldn't even do it in this video. There would be every single player on the Oklahoma roster would be on there. That's how good this Oklahoma team, that's how shocking this Oklahoma team was to me today. And just Florida, I don't want to necessarily say that they played bad, although there was a lot of crappy play. They were missing their superstars. They were missing Kyle Pitts. They were missing Kadarius Toney. They were missing Trevon Grimes. They were missing Jacob Copeland. That's all their receivers. Those are our top 4 receivers gone. Now, that's no excuse on why Florida lost. Oklahoma, after seeing what I just saw, Oklahoma could have still easily won this game, even if they did have all 4 of those guys. I just think that the score would have been closer if you had those guys at least. I'm not saying that Florida would have won the game if they had those 4 guys alone. I do think that the score would be a lot closer, but that Oklahoma team, very, very good. Ramondre Stevenson right now is 18 carries for 186 yards. Monster game on the ground for him. 1 touchdown. Major had 1 touchdown. He rushed for 110 yards, and Spencer Rattler also rushed for a touchdown for 40 yards. Here's the key to the game right here. 409 rushing yards for the Oklahoma Sooners. Lights out performance by them in the rushing game. You can never win a game if you aren't able to stop the other team's rushing game. Oklahoma just owned the line of scrimmage the whole game. That offense was on from the kickoff of this game. I remember the first drive for Oklahoma. Spencer Rattler goes up, throws one of the best balls I've ever seen while getting absolutely nailed in the face by a Florida defensive end. And he dropped that ball in perfectly to Marvin Mims. Absolutely amazing execution by Spencer Rattler there. That's why you saw at the beginning of the season. Very, very slow start. if this guy can get figured out in college football, this Oklahoma team is going to be scary. I would be so thankful right now if I was an Alabama fan that you are going up against Notre Dame and that this Oklahoma team has 2 losses, because I guarantee you this Oklahoma team would be a lot scarier to play than Notre Dame coming up on New Year's Day. You look at the receiving stats for Oklahoma. McGowan had 3 receptions, 70 yards. Rambo had 2 receptions, 45 yards. Weiss had 1 reception, 36 yards. And Marvin Mims, their top receiver, only had 1 reception, but that was for a touchdown. That was that Spencer Rattler throw that I was talking about earlier. Let's look at some of the Florida stats, because we still got to be fair. We got to look at both sides of the ball. Even though the Florida stats aren't that impressive, Kyle Trask 16 for 28, 158 yards, 3 interceptions, no throwing touchdowns. That's the first game that he has without a passing touchdown in his whole college career. Emory Jones 8 for 16, 86 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but he did rush for 60 yards in 10 attempts with 1 touchdown. I think at the time, he just brought a whole new dynamic into the game that was really, really helpful for Florida and just gave them a bit of boost because he was able to scramble out of the pocket, make his own plays. You saw a lot of times where Kyle Trask would have gone down. Emory Jones was actually able to go in there and make a play, make a gain out of that play. Receiving-wise, Whittemore led them with 2 receptions, 47 yards. Wells had 6 receptions, 43 yards. Zippier had 4 receptions, 38 yards. Shorter, who was supposed to be the main guy. Shorter was supposed to be the main guy in this game coming into Florida. He was kind of that 5th wide receiver. He had some open balls. I remember one that was right down the sideline where Shorter just pulled his hands back. That ball was thrown right on point. He just pulled his hand back. He could have had that one, and I think there was another one that he dropped. So Shorter had a bit of a disappointing game for me. Pierce had 2 receptions, 20 yards. Malik Davis had 2 receptions, 19 yards. There were a ton of receptions across the board for Florida, but there was no one guy that was able to carry the team. There's no Kadarius Toney. There's no Kyle Pitts. You're not going to have that wide receiver one that you can trust to go to on every single 3rd down and come up with the ball or come up with a big play. That just shows you. I don't know what this does to Kyle Trask's draft stock, because that's also something very, very interesting to think about, because Kyle Trask gets benched in this game. I don't know how much this affects his draft stock. Like, you're looking at 2nd, high-end, like, very low probability, late 1st round, maybe a 3rd round pick for Kyle Trask. I don't know if that's going to take a toll. I don't know if he comes back for another year after this performance. I doubt it, but it's always worth a thought about. This Oklahoma team, Florida just scored, so we're about to have a 20-55 game. And who scored that touchdown? Let's see here. While we're figuring out who scored this touchdown, I had the game on my TV, but the TV shut down. Oklahoma, man, this team, their ceiling for next season, their floor, and then their ceiling for next season, I think is a very, very, very interesting and very, like, Oklahoma's going to be a team to keep your eye out for next season. That's all I got to tell you. The touchdown on Florida's drive was Anthony Richardson, complete to Pouncey. Jordan Pouncey, 27 yards for a touchdown. So that's Florida's 2nd touchdown. And just what a depleting way to end a Florida Gators season. You go into the LSU game and you are not 8-1, and you drop the next 3 games in a row and finish 8-4. Like, think about it. This Florida team finished at a 66% winning percentage, a team that was supposed to have a really, really good chance to win the SEC and to make it to the college football playoff, went on and only win for 66% in their season. That is just, it sucks for Florida fans. I feel for Florida fans because I felt so good for them after beating Georgia. I wanted them to beat Georgia, as I'm getting ad on my computer. I wanted Florida to go out and beat Georgia, and that they did. And I thought the season was rolling after that point, just not able to not throw a shoe against LSU. And then they played a really, really good game against Alabama, and then with all the opt-outs and everything in this game, it just fell apart from there. So Florida, really, really tough way to wrap up the season. But Oklahoma, I think that this is a great show for you guys into next season, what the Big 12 is all about. I think that this is a huge win for the Big 12, even though this was Big 12's best team. And at the time with this team, the product that Florida was able to put out on the field, I think that this would be the SEC's 4th best team. I'd take Alabama, Texas A&M, and Georgia all over this Florida team right now. But still, a very, very commanding win against a very, very good Florida team for Oklahoma. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I appreciate it. Like the video down below. Definitely comment anything about college football. Subscribe. Thank you for watching, and come back next time.